Hey guys, what's up? It's Mousy here. Just doing a little bit of a Knossos build, the one that I use in most games. And this is most games, meaning I don't use it situationally, um, due to the fact that they have a lot of mobility on the team, going to Chuck, and or if I want to go with the bleed build, this is just what I follow most of the time. It's what I like, and it's what usually gets me my carries on Knossos rather than my frontlining Knossos. So first, we're gonna go with the E, which is Bull Rush. We're gonna go Raging Bull. Raging Bull offers 15% basic attack damage. Now, 15% doesn't sound like a lot, but imagine if I'm hitting 100, I'm now hitting 115. 15 damage does so much. It does a lot more than a lot of people will give into. Um, Mainly because with Major Beef, when I'm going into fights, especially if I'm going on the wrong end of fights, 200 health isn't a lot, and it's only for 5 seconds. It doesn't give a speed boost. Knossos, being the chaser and the punisher that he is, if somebody's out of position, you can hit Q, dash at them, interrupt them. E, which induces the movement speed, plus your 15% basic attack. You're hitting really hard, you're keeping up with them. They can't really escape. This movement speed is what gives Knossos his ability to kill. It's what keeps him on and in the fight. Also, these two, the only one that I would like is Interrupting Cow, and Interrupting Cow does mild damage. As well as this 15 basic attack damage when he hits, that applies to each hit within that 5 seconds. Knossos' attack chain for, I believe it's 1.75 seconds, is 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 da. It is timed like that. And then it doesn't start for another about 0.5 seconds. Which means that he's getting off a lot more damage than he would have. Next, I will either go into Chuck or Gore. Chuck mainly allows me to nearly always use throwing the spear, which keeps it heavy barrel. But for this, I'm going to follow this one. We're going to go with Bulldoze. The second Q attack. A lot of damage. People underestimate that damage. It hits hard. Mainly because goring up, allowing you to keep people on you. Launching enemies isn't the best thing to do unless you're in the right position. Rarely ever when you're chasing somebody, which is what happens with Knossos most of the time, is chasing and frontlining, knocking them back unless they're charging for an attack is not the right thing to do. At least from my perspective. So Bulldoze is where I like to select that. Next, I'll definitely go for Chuck, going into Heavy Barrel. This does a lot of damage. It applies a bleed. Bleeds do so much more than what people think. This does a 50-second bleed for 3 seconds, or for 4 seconds. A bleed every 1 second, doing another 200 damage on top of that. That they can't stop unless they have degen resistance. Degen resistance is hard to come by without using your passive on your 5th ability. Skewer is going to be my next, which is his basic attack. I do like this, but we're not going with the bleed build. We're going with Bruiser. Bruiser does a lot more damage than people really expect it to do. 20 seconds, as I've said down before with Raging Bull. So if you activate your E, if you Bull Rush, and then go into Bruiser damage, you're now doing 35% more damage. It's a lot per basic attack. Next, we're going to go to Sharpened Horns. That's not next. Next, we have Dominator. Or Bloody Minded. I'll go Dominator if I'm doing very, very, very well. That is the only reason when I'll go Dominator. Otherwise, I'll have Immunity to Weakness or Recover from Daze twice as fast. Mainly, I'll go to that when I'm fighting against a heavy Daze team. If there's a Wu on the other team. Wu is incredible for countering Knossos. He destroys Knossos in mostly any encounter unless the Wu is at a lower skill level. But we're going to go Dominator, saying that this is what's going on. Because we're not using Gore to really finish kills, we're not going to go for Trample. Gore doesn't do enough for me, at least with my playstyle. Chuck is not the focus, but you can hit some miracle shots. I have hit miracle shots that get kills, but that's not my goal here. We're going to go with Fury. Fury is a mad talent. It does a lot for Bull Rush. 3 seconds is a lot of time, and people don't really give it the time. At 1.75, I think, is his basic attack. 3 seconds is 1.5. Or 2.5. About. No, it's 1.5. Somewhere around his basic attack. So that allows his basic attack chain to go 1.5 times more than what it used to with Bull Rush active, giving you effectively 7.5% more damage. Now, we're going for DPS here, which is why percentage damage does so much more than I am allowing it to, or than I am giving it credit for. We're going to go with Sharpened Horns, like I said before. Keeping Bruiser's damage active, 20% damage is a long time. If you're staying on someone, keep hitting them, and you're gonna keep hitting. Most of the time with Knossos, you're chasing down one person. Sometimes you're gonna kill someone. 5 seconds is a long time, but it's not long enough to get to someone, do your double damage, and get out. That's about it. So we want Sharpened Horns for our 6th. Our 7th, we're probably going to go with Stamina. Long running does a lot for Knossos, with how much he is based on sprinting at someone, hitting them, keep using his abilities to run at people. You want an ability that gives him a stamina buff. Gives him stamina back. 20 stamina is a lot. Mighty Yop doesn't affect as much for people as it should unless you're rushing and everybody's near you. It's a good ability, not as good as not as good as people like it to be. Next, we're gonna save this for later. We're gonna go with this here. Focus on the kill. Focus on the kill. As you can see, hitting QQ, it does 100 more damage. Killing an enemy hero or creature with either of your Q attacks, so either hitting Gore or that second really strong attack, grants 50% focus. That's 50% of using your ultimate ability again. That's a lot of damage that people really underestimate. Next, we're going to be going with Skill Shot. People ask why not Kidney Shot to me in stream. I've been asked 3 times, I think. Skill Shot, with 25% basic attack damage for 5 seconds, I can hit somebody with a full shot, and it takes 1 second or 2 seconds, I believe. I think it takes 1 second to fully charge. So you're holding down your right mouse button for 1 whole second, fully charging, throwing your spear at someone, and it hits. When that happens, you get 25% basic attack damage. You run up to them, hit them for the first 4 hits of your combo, boosting to 20% more damage. You're now at 45. You press E. You're now at 60% more basic attack damage. Say you've already gotten 3 kills in that life. You're at 75% more damage. I hope you're seeing where this build is going. It's going to percentage burst. I should hit you with 4 basics and you die. 5, probably, because it doesn't proc on the 4th basic. It's a lot of damage. Next, you can get this either one. I really like to have 10% focus because his Labyrinth ultimate is a lot of damage. I'll do a bleed build. It's okay. I like the bleed build, not as much as I like this. But this is the build that I go with. Sometimes I switch Raging Bull and Bulldoze just so that I can get something if somebody doesn't have an escape right off the bat, or a good escape that does a lot. Say I'm going against a Beckett on Siren Strand and we're fighting at D, double Q. Beckett's half health. It's a lot of damage. That's just an example of when I would switch that, and what map I would switch on. Otherwise, this is the build that I normally follow. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys later.